Raz's Retro here, and today's video comes to us courtesy from the newest member of the RWO, the Retro World Order, and it comes to us by officially captured, because what you gonna do, brother, when he comes running wild on you? So for those of you that saw officially captured the video, he did a video about his Nintendo 64 library, and he asked the question, what is your top 3 Nintendo 64 games? For me personally, this is very hard to say in general when it comes to gaming because each game has its charm. However, I will talk about games that I've had the best memories with. So essentially, it could be my top games. They're not going to be in any particular order. And at the same time, some games I'll talk about that I've been playing lately. Two of the games that I will mention here, I don't actually own physically. One of them I did, and the other one I just never owned it. But I do have special memories, and they are top games in my opinion. But I'll get to that a little later on. So, without any further ado, let's get straight into it. I'll talk about, again, some games that I've had the best memory with, and I personally recommend all of these games, just because I do think that they are fantastic. Anyone that watches my channel will probably know already which direction I'm going to be going in, so it might sound just a little repetitive. So first off is, of course, Mario Kart 64. I mean, you know, I just have to, right? It's the first game that I've ever owned on the Nintendo 64. You already know the story. We went to Future Shop, an electronics store that unfortunately no longer exists, and my sister was the one that recommended it, and no regrets. A fantastic game, really a lot of great memories with it. Everything about it, whether it was time trial, whether it was, doing the mushroom cup, doing the battle mode, it was just fantastic. Now, I will say that Diddy Kong Racing is the better game, but obviously that came out, I think, like a year after. But still, man, Mario Kart 64, in my opinion, it still holds up today, and I definitely do recommend it to anybody who loves old school gaming. So that would be the first one that I'm sharing. The next game that I will talk about, if you just look at it, you might actually have an idea of what it is. But I definitely have to put this. I have to put this there. I mean, it's a game that I have a lot of memories with, and that is, of course, WWF No Mercy, which in my opinion is the best wrestling game of all time, and obviously the best wrestling game on the Nintendo 64. It's not my favorite, but it is the best game in terms of wrestling games, in my opinion. But I do have a lot of love for this game, a lot of great memories. It's a game that I played more by myself. I would play it also with my brother and some friends, but I tended to play this one a little more on my own. But I mean, this game was just fantastic, and it still looks great today, in my opinion. The next game, which you guys probably already have an idea of what it's going to be, and I will say that the next one is actually my favorite wrestling game of all time, and that's WCW versus NWO Revenge. Now, it's favorite because obviously it is a good game. It's a great game, and without Revenge, we wouldn't have No Mercy. Okay, Revenge was a great game. No Mercy was even a greater game. It was a more polished game. But Revenge, simply my favorite, just because the amount of time I've played this with Sean, with friends. It's a game that I've played a lot, and I sunk into doing a lot of, multiplayer. We would do battle royals, tag team matches, one-on-ones, all that good stuff. So definitely, 3 really fantastic games, and all 3 exclusively on the Nintendo 64. Another game I do want to mention, and I don't own it, but it definitely have a lot of great memories, and it's definitely a top game on the Nintendo 64 and even on the PlayStation, and that would be Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Unfortunately, I don't own it anymore. I sold it a while back. However, I do have some news, which I'll explain a little after. I wasn't planning to do a video about my games on the Nintendo 64 as of yet. There was something that I had lined up for sometime next month, but when Officially Captured asked, I said, okay, you know what? I got to do this because, it's a good question that he asked, and I wanted to see what other people had to say as well. I think several people have already done a response video, so I wanted to share my response as well. The next two games that I'm going to share with you are also really good games, and they're actually the two games that I'm playing the most, like, recently. So whenever I do get a chance to game on the Nintendo 64, these are the two games that I'm actually playing quite a lot of. So the first one essentially is, you guys want to take a guess? Mario Tennis. Now, Mario Tennis, I have a quick story about that one. I was first exposed to this game at a McDonald's. So what happened was is that my dad was driving, and he had to go use the washroom, so we stopped at a McDonald's, and I was a little thirsty, so I got like a Coke, and they had like a kiosk, which had like a Mario Tennis on it. So I started playing it, and then my dad said, okay, you can play a little more, and then we have to head out. But why it was interesting was it was the first time, or at least one of the first times I saw my dad actually play a video game. He took the second controller and he gave it a go for about 30 seconds or a minute, and then I think he just put it down. So that was pretty interesting to see, and that's a memory that will be with me for forever. I did buy this game, but I didn't own it for the longest time. I bought it later on in life, but a really fantastic game, and definitely one that is recommended to anybody actually. The next game is Mickey Speedway USA. Now I love kart racers, and this, it's like Mario Kart in the sense that it's a kart racer, but it's really not like Mario Kart. It's actually quite challenging. The thing with Mario Kart is, like, if you're in fourth or fifth place, like, you still have the opportunity to get back in first, because when you get the power ups, they give you really good power ups so that you can have that opportunity. Mickey Speedway is not like that. Like, if you fall behind, it's actually really hard to catch up. A lot of great stages as well. Character selection isn't as vast, but a lot of great modes, a lot of great character selections, and I've been enjoying it. So I just wanted to share, these games with you. There is one other game that I want to talk about. So essentially, it wouldn't be four, it's going to be five in terms of memories. And it's a game that I do recommend. It is also on the PlayStation as well, and that is Fighting Force 64. So the story that I have for that one is I've never actually owned it. At the time, we were living in a duplex, and we had tenants that were living in the basement, and the tenant was a divorcee who had three children, and they were all boys, and they would come over on the weekend. And a lot of times when they would come over, I would just, I'd end up hanging out. Most of the time, it just ended up being, us playing Nintendo 64 or PlayStation. Sometimes we'd play outside. But he owned Fighting Force 64, and that's where I was exposed to it, and I really enjoyed it. I spent a lot of hours playing with him. I never even rented it, because I just, I would just play it on the weekends. I used to love playing as Hawk. Great music, great beat 'em up. It looked great for its time, and I think we beat it once together. And I would definitely recommend Fighting Force 64 to anybody actually. So I would say those 4 or 5 games are, probably my top. Don't get me wrong, Mario Tennis and Mickey Speedway are up there as well, but I just wanted to share them just because these are the 2 games that I've been playing lately. So big respect to Officially Captured for, asking, several YouTubers what their top games were. Um, like I said, in a couple weeks' time, I do have something planned, which we'll talk a little more about some of my Nintendo 64 games. I will also share my library as well. And yeah, just a couple things I have planned in mind to do within the next couple of weeks or so. So that being said, I really hope everyone is doing well. I hope everyone is remaining retro. And remember, life is like a game. You decide how to play it. All you got to do is hit the start button. For those of you who haven't, please subscribe to Officially Captured. I think he's at 96 subscribers. Let's get him to 100. All right, take it easy. All the best. And of course, God bless.